Hey everybody, it's John back here at the farm. Welcome back. Today we are going to work on a couple projects. One is, you remember a couple springs ago I made this air pruning bed with the idea that I would start chestnuts in it and then lower it to the ground in the fall and then dig them up in the next spring as bare roots. Well, the problem is I put 6x6 bases and never created a way that I could easily lift it up and then lower it to the ground because I don't have forks for my tractor. And so the trees that I put in it, they kind of grew, sort of, and then they froze to death. I created more work for myself than I needed, and so I'm just going to declare this a failed experiment on my part. I think air pruning has good ideas, making bigger roots, but it just didn't work for me because it just created more work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this lid off, and then I'm going to take the base and I'm going to go up to another part of the property and create a little bit of a nursery there, and then I'm going to use this to protect it. So I'm going to plant, I got a whole bunch of chestnut and oaks that I need to get in the ground desperately. I'm going to do that today. And then my number 2 project is the seed drill that I purchased. The Facebook Marketplace purchase has a big problem. I didn't create it. I'm sure it had it when I bought it. I just didn't know enough to know what I was looking at. It's got a broken side of its tumbler wheel that drives the seed dispensing. So I'm gonna try to take that off and figure out if I can weld that or if I gotta buy a brand new one. So that's a couple projects. If I have enough time, I'll mow. Otherwise, gotta get off. Gonna be graduating my first child out of high school today. So big day today. Gonna work here, get this going. Try to limit my heavy lifting. Brought the truck up here close. Well, the joys of self-filming. Apparently it was all blurry when I tried to film that. But anyway, we got it loaded. Wasn't that big of a job. We're gonna get a little strap on this. This is gonna go to the top of the hill, and we're gonna work on getting a little bit of a seed bed kind of tilled up. I thought about just leaving this base intact and lifting it with the tractor, but I think I'm just going to take it apart. And we'll figure out if I'm going to use this at home or use it here. Up here, we've got our fence, a little cage here, riding up in some tall grass, the orchard grass, Timothy, all seeding out. Just love all the different parts of the year. I love this. I love when the grass stays green and the grass starts turning golden. I love it in the winter when it's all flat. It's beautiful. I'm back up here, and this is, well, we'll offload. Well, we had about a 30-minute rain, nice rain, gentle rain. But I came out, had to take my shirt off, it was pouring down rain. Just now got it back on just so that you guys don't vomit. And now we're finishing up planting. I planted English white oaks on that whole side, basically. The sawtooth oaks there on that front quarter, and then I'm planting whatever remains here, and really not a lot's remaining over here. So we'll put a few down that haven't sprouted. We'll see if they get in the warm soil, if they'll start generating. If they don't, then I'll move some trees that I've started in the basement out here and use this corner for that. Microphone's died, so that's why you're getting a little more wind in the audio. I don't like to use too much of this on the top because it sort of repels water a little. If you've dealt with peat moss, it can be a little resistant to getting wet initially. Been trying to remove the rocks. I'll leave the smaller ones just to allow for a little more drainage. A piece of gravel like that's probably okay. Bigger rocks I'm trying to remove. But like the seed beds that I planted about a month ago back home, I'll have to come through and weed this once in about a month and a half, and then that should make it okay. And then next year it'll canopy out mostly. If I decide to do a second year with them, we'll just have to see. But I think that's what I'm going to do. See, there's a piece of corn, hard to see, but it's got 1.5 inch root. But I'll leave this here kind of open as a definitive line of where I stopped planting. I'll slide this cover over. The dirt level inside is not that high. Now, if I amend that with next year's crop, I'll want a higher dirt level just for winter protection from the cold. But this is already higher than the soil level. We'll open her up. I'll be able to easily weed this. I'll be able to easily add those new trees. Just let it sit right there. All right, tree nursery in the middle of the field. It'll be a cornfield, maybe, unless the crop fails. This one was the most muddy, very hard to till up with my tillage equipment. All right. I'm gonna mix it up. I was gonna go work on the seed drill right now after this, but since I'm up here and it's been raining, I'm gonna go feed the fish, maybe even cast a couple times before I do that. Then I'll get down, get to work on that problem. Big old fat bluegill. Look at that big old guy. Big old fat bluegill. Nice one. He's on the nest. That's definitely frying size if I was going to keep him, but he's going to go make more babies for my bass. Yeah, we caught one fish. We're going to feed him and move on. gonna move all blue here just a little bit, just to protect them. Just a little bit, once every week or two, seems to do the trick. The turkey doesn't like them. She's back not liking the heron. All right, I'm gonna go show you my problem with my Tar River DRL-072. Well, the lighting's not amazing in here, but it's pretty obvious the problem. You can see this roller tumbler. That's the thing that engages the gears on this Tar River DRL-072. And when I went to go with it, this piece was encircled in here into the kind of where it's supposed to be, but right there, that is the piece that should be attached to this. And it had snapped off, and I'm sure that didn't happen when I was traveling with it. I'm sure it broke, and that's why they wanted to get rid of it. But you know, that's, you know, when you buy on Facebook Marketplace, that's the risk you get. This side's fine, and this side engages the small seed box. So I actually went real slow when I was planting on that last video, and this was just within the side, inside this, and it tumbled and did fine. It delivered good seed. Maybe not perfect, but then I came back and was trying to figure out how to get it to engage the large seed side when I was thinking about using it for corn, and that was when it became blatantly obvious what exactly was wrong. So I am going to attempt to remove the piece that's here that should be attached to that piece and is no longer attached, and I'm going to see if I can get it welded. If I cannot weld it, then I'll have to talk with Tar River. I did call a dealer, and it sounds like to replace that part before shipping is $420. So I'm assuming another $150 in shipping. So probably $600 before I get one here. But if I gotta pay it, I'll pay it. But I'm gonna talk to them and see what kind of deal they can work out, or if there's some sort of warranty or whatever. But I'm gonna get to work on this, see if I can get it fixed. We'll start with welding. That seems like it's the best, cheapest option. So we got snap rings. Got the snap ring removed. Okay, that's the direction she wanted to come out. There's that broken piece of the shaft. That's going to be tough to weld and still stay straight, but we'll try. We'll go over to the other side. We'll have to do the same thing. Got to get the cover off of this one. Just going to loosen this. It's got a U-bolt underneath holding the drag, kind of like a smoother right before the cultipacker. This is a 5/8 inch. Now back to banging. Should be close. Well, I monkeyed around trying to get that pounded out. Came out to a certain point and then was stopped, and I looked in, and turns out it's got a snap ring on the internal side too. And that didn't matter on the other one because it was broken. So I'm gonna try to get this snap ring out. I may have to put in a curved one. All right, we got my right angled parts here. Fucking can't even get them to stay in there. Well, after monkeying around for a while, I went and got a pair of pliers and bent the copper snap rings, which maybe all of you guys knew you could do. Maybe I weakened them and maybe it won't work now, but maybe it'll allow these to get in, because these have a little bit bigger hole or purchase than the other ones for whatever reason that came in the package. So annoying. Well, I've been monkeying around with this internal snap ring for hours. And what I ended up doing, I could not get it. Just did not have enough purchase. I put a wire through each head. I'll show you what I did here in a second, but I have finally gotten purchase underneath it. I think I'm gonna get it. Yay! That was a pain. Let me show what I did here. So I could not get enough purchase. There was just not enough room there. And I broke a couple pieces of my snap ring. So I threaded a wire through this side and through this side, then pulled pliers, was able to get pliers sideways each way and pulled opposite each other, and was able to pop out one side, get a flathead screwdriver underneath it, pop it loose. Fire it up. Let's see if we can finally get this roller out, something we started a couple hours ago. What's hanging on now? Well, after losing my patience and just getting on the other end there, wiggling it, back and forth, wiggling, changing the angle, I finally got her loose and fired up. Whew. So that's what this end looks like. And this is what this end looks like. So we're going to get this piece welded to that end. Got it loaded up. Interestingly, I own it now. So hopefully I didn't bend that up too bad. We'll work on getting it in and we'll try to get this piece done. That's going to take care of today though. Gotta get home, get cleaned up. Graduation this evening. Try to find somebody that can weld this. Try to get that little collar off at some point too. I'll have a vise at home, that'll be a little easier. Thanks for following me. If you liked it, give a thumbs up. Click that subscribe button. Remember, if you're not out there growing, guys and gals, you're dying. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.